Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are here we were at Fheps on the steps of my mind. That's how we're doing it, right? So, if you don't know, I can explain to you the next part. But here we have Kathleen.
Hi.
Yes, I'm going to ask her some questions about what this program means to a lot of people and who lives can change by having this expansion.
So City Fheps has been a game changer for the folks that are lucky enough to get a voucher. So it is the single most effective tool to help people move from shelter into permanent housing. However, right now, I work for Volunteers of America Greater New York. About 2/3 of the families and individuals in our shelters right now are not eligible for a voucher. They're not eligible because maybe there's a mom who doesn't have childcare and can't work the requisite number of hours. Maybe there's a mom who does have childcare and is working too many hours.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. That should not be a phrase that comes out of my mouth. There are single individuals that are struggling with disabilities, but they don't yet have SSI and they're not officially disabled, so they're technically supposed to be working to get the assistance, and therefore they don't have a voucher either. There's so many complicated rules that are just preventing people from being able to access the lifeline that would help them get permanent housing. It's even worse. Someone told me at the steps today that this is the 10th anniversary of runaway homeless youth being denied City Fheps because they're in the wrong kind of shelter system. And that was a promise from 10 years ago that was supposed to get fixed. This legislation would fix that for all of the kids in the DYCD shelters. There are survivors of domestic violence shelters that are slipping through the cracks. If it's, do I qualify for Fheps B, City Fheps? And it's very confusing.
It is.
I think if it was just a straightforward voucher that honored the expansion for people that are earning, less than 50% of the area median income, so that folks that are, trying to make it work but just not making enough to make the rent would still qualify. That's super important. You never want to tell somebody to not chase their dreams.
Exactly.
Was at one of our shelters a couple weeks ago. This woman, she got a good job at Chipotle. She's making $28 an hour.
Oh, that's good money.
It's really good. She's
In
like
New York City.
management track, like her boss really likes her. And she's about to lose her City Fheps voucher because he's telling her, like, hey, like, you're doing really well. Do you want to pick up extra shifts? And she's like, no, because I need my voucher. And then if she keeps saying no, she could lose that job, and then she loses everything. Like, I shouldn't have to confront this. What are we supposed to tell this woman who is doing literally everything right? Everything right. And yet, because the mayor and city council can't figure out how to implement the laws that were duly passed 3 years ago, we're still fighting this fight.
There's a lot of problems with this. People get paid too low. $28 sounds cute when you add it up for rent and give it to a mom. It's still not enough money. Also, another problem is that they want you to stay on the system. The system still doesn't pay you enough to survive. And it's like, which one do you take? Or which path do you take? What's going to be least resistance? Personally, I took go to the welfare using it until I got a better job that paid me over what they're giving me. And at the time, my daughter was not in childcare anymore, so I think that also helped me out because by the time COVID happened and that kind of, she was at home with me anyway, so it didn't matter. Yeah. But not everybody's gonna have that happen to them. So it's like, do you think about if I have to pay for childcare, I have to pay for an apartment, I gotta pay for water, light, depending on what your situation is. What do? Do you say you stay on the system until you get a $30 job, which some people can't even, they're not gonna get that, they're not gonna qualify, they probably don't have the education for it. And these are all these factors. Why should I have to stay on the system and suffer in this thing? Just say, you know what? We don't make using $2.50 of a thing, and then you put some people in worse neighborhoods, or you put them in luxury buildings. So when they do make more money, they get cut off. They still can't pay the rent there, and they have to go back to shelter. Why put people in these predicaments? They don't have to be. And if you don't know, the leading factor of family homelessness in New York City is DVs. People are already going through a crisis when they're homeless. They're running from their abuser. Some of them have kids, some people don't have kids, and this is what they have to go through on top of everything. Sometimes the abuser even messes up their credit. So they're still struggling, leaving everything behind, and they still have to go through this problem. This is a problem that we need to solve. The expansion needs to go for everyone. I don't understand why the youth can't get it. I don't understand why some populations can't get it, or they can't, like, they're confused on which one to get. I feel like we just need one big program. A lot of us, like myself, worked since I was 14. I paid into the system technically anyway, so when I need the help, give me the help. And I don't understand why I have to be struggling this much. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.